Hello everyone, welcome to Nia Full Court Press, where I bring you the latest, greatest, and never outdated news of the sports world. Welcome back. First off, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Nia Full Court Press. Also follow me on my social media. Instagram is at _Nia24, that's 4 A's, at _Nia24. And then you can also follow me on my sports page at Nia Full Court Press. Also follow me on my Twitter at Nia Harris 1898. So in today's episode, we will be discussing the NBA's free agency. Yes, it is that time again. I know everyone is excited because of all of the big moves that have been happening during NBA free agency, and also how the opening games are upon us. So let's go ahead and get right into it. As many of you may know, there have been a lot of NBA trades and a lot of people signing during this NBA free agency, so we won't be able to get to everybody's NBA trades, but we will discuss some of the big trades that are happening in this NBA free agency. If you would like to go and see the other trades that I don't discuss in this video, you can go to NBA.com. The first NBA trade we will be discussing is the John Wall and Westbrook trade. Now, I know that this was a very big deal in the NBA world because it's like John Wall is now leaving Washington Wizards and Westbrook has only been with the Houston Rockets for 1 year, and now he has already been traded. The thing about this trade is something that I always say when it comes to the NBA. Anything can happen, especially during NBA free agency. You never know where players will land. You never know who's going to be playing on what team during the next season. I know nobody expected John Wall to be leaving from the Washington Wizards and playing for the Houston Rockets, but that's just how it goes in the NBA. Also, someone that is going to be joining John Wall at the Houston Rockets is DeMarcus Cousins. He was signed, and now they will be playing together. They played together in college in Kentucky. So it's going to be nice seeing those two back together on the Houston Rockets. Now the thing is, will John Wall, will DeMarcus Cousins, will they fit into the Houston Rockets system? I know that when you have such dominant players such as John Wall, the main thing is chemistry. Will they be able to play with the Eric Gordons and the PJ Tuckers and the James Harden, if James Harden will be playing with the Houston Rockets? Now that's another thing that's been happening in Houston. There's trouble in Houston. James Harden wants to be traded from the Houston Rockets. He has been saying that he would like to go to teams such as the 76ers or the Nets or the Heat. He has made it very known that he would like to be traded. He has declined a $50 million extension per season. That's not just one $50 million. That's $50 million extra per season that he stays with the Houston Rockets, and he declined it. So if that's not saying anything, well, I don't know what is, but everybody is now wondering where James Harden will land. He has played with them during preseason, but he has still made it known that he would like to be traded. The good thing about the Houston Rockets adding a player like John Wall is used to being the leader of a team. He has done that for multiple years with the Washington Wizards. He knows how to be a defensive player, but also he knows how to score when needed, and he's also not a selfish player, something that the Houston Rockets are looking for. But the question is, will that be enough? Because the Washington Wizards haven't really been one of those great teams in the NBA. So it's like, okay, now that John Wall does have some different teammates and some different players that can, shoot the ball just like Eric Gordon, and, that have some defensive skills on the team, will that help escalate the Houston Rockets if James Harden isn't there? Now, on to the flip side of the trade, you have Russell Westbrook, who is going to the Washington Wizards. The thing about Westbrook going to the Washington Wizards, he's going to have to become a team player. In Washington, they have been good with sharing the ball with their teammates. That's one thing that Westbrook did have a problem with in Houston. Westbrook wanted to be their floor general, something that he is used to being, especially coming from OKC, and then that's kind of why him and James Harden butted heads at the Houston Rockets, because they both are two dominant players who are used to being those floor generals. But now the thing is, will Westbrook's chemistry fit with the Washington Wizards with Bradley Beal? Bradley Beal was the duo with John Wall. Will Westbrook fit into the Wizard system? Now moving on to the Los Angeles Lakers and the moves that they have made during this NBA free agency. But first off, I have to shout out the Lakers. Yes, we are the 2020 NBA champions. It's a great day to be a Lakers fan, as any day is great to be a Lakers fan. But of course, I had to make this shout out because as everyone knows, I'm a big Lakers fan, and if you didn't know, you know now. But I've been a Lakers fan since a little girl. I'm not one of those bandwagon fans. I have been a Lakers fan through the ups and downs. So it's just good to see my Lakers, back as champions. The last time that we did win a championship was in 2010 when Kobe got his 5th ring. But yes, shout out to the Lakers. So starting off, LeBron James has signed a 2-year extension contract for $85 million. Anthony Davis has signed a deal for $190 million for 5 years. So we're going to see that duo, that power duo, for a number of years now. I know that they're looking to be that longevity duo and see how many championships that they can bring to the Los Angeles Lakers. I have to definitely give the Lakers front office a shout out. They have done a great job during this NBA free agency time, especially after coming from being champions. The Lakers have made some great additions to the team, such as Marc Gasol, Wesley Matthews, Dennis Schroeder, Montrezl Harrell. Montrezl Harrell just won 6th Man of the Year. Dennis Schroeder was a 6th Man of the Year contender. Marc Gasol, it's always good to have one of the Gasol brothers on the Lakers. His brother Pau Gasol was a legendary Laker himself. Mark, go ahead and give your brother a call. Let him know, come on, just spend one more year with the Laker and retire as a Laker. That'll just be a complete full circle for us Lakers fans. I believe that these are some great additions. Montrezl Harrell, great defensive player. Dennis Schroeder, very good with ball handling skills. He's very quick. He can score when he needs to score. Wesley Matthews, Marc Gasol, a great solid big man, a great center, something that the Lakers has always needed. Although the Lakers did have these great additions, we did have to let go some of our good teammates as well, such as Danny Green. He's going to OKC. JaVale McGee is going to the Cavaliers. Avery Bradley will be playing for the Heat. Rajon Rondo will be playing for the Atlanta Hawks. Dwight Howard will be playing for the 76ers. It's one of those bittersweet moments, but it's just how it is when it comes to the NBA. As I stated, anything can happen. Now we'll talk about some of the moves that the Clippers have made during this NBA free agency. Paul George has signed the extension contract with the Clippers for $226 million. Tyronn Lue is now the head coach. Doc Rivers will be the head coach for the 76ers. Serge Ibaka is now on the Clippers. I know he was a good friend of Kawhi, who I was trying to text him like, hey, are you coming tonight? And now he's there. Nicholas Batum is now on the Clippers. The thing with the Clippers is, will they have made those adjustments that Paul George spoke about in this interview? He stated that they didn't make it as far as they wanted to last season because of, he kind of put it on the coaching system that they wasn't making the adjustments that they needed to during the playoffs. But then Doc Rivers came back and said everyone needs to take responsibility. Players have to play better as well. I believe that it's a twofold thing. Yes, you need coaches to step up and make those plays that needs to be made during the time. What you may have practiced may not be what's best during the actual game. Then also players have to play better. Paul George didn't play as efficiently as he should have during the playoffs. Kawhi didn't show up as much as we expected him to during the playoffs. So everybody has to take accountability and make those adjustments. Next up, CP3, Chris Paul was traded to the Suns. He will be joining Devin Booker and the Phoenix Suns next season. I actually believe the Phoenix Suns is one of those teams that it's going to be good. They showed out in the bubble. They showed out before the NBA bubble as well during the regular season. And they're just one of those teams that they have the elements to make them a great team. They just need a little more experience. And I believe that the Suns' time is coming in the NBA. So you better watch out for them. Then we have the man with the plan, the one that made the biggest NBA move of them all in the NBA free agency. Giannis Antetokounmpo. He signed a Supermax contract with the Milwaukee Bucks for $228.2 million. That is the biggest contract deal in NBA history. So yes, round of applause for Giannis. He is getting that money. The time has come. The NBA's opening season games are just around the corner. The first games will be happening on December 22nd. And all I have to say is the NBA did what needed to be done with these matchups. Now, there will only be 72 games played instead of the usual 82 games, considering that this season came faster than usual due to the pandemic that is going on right now. two games that will be played that day. You have the Golden State Warriors versus the Brooklyn Nets. Now, I am very excited about this game because it is going to be a showdown. You have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving who will be playing their first regular season games together. Then you have Kevin Durant who will be going against his old team who he won his championships with, the Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry. Now, the only thing that sucks about Golden State Warriors this year is they will not have Klay Thompson. He is out with the injury, an Achilles injury that happened during this off season. So we're just wishing for a speedy recovery for Klay, but he will not be playing this season. The Warriors do have something to prove in this comeback season for them. They were the last seed in the Western Conference. They were the 15th seed last year. So it's like, okay, y'all used to be the championship team, y'all were title contenders, and it's like last season y'all were the last seed in the West. That's why I say anything happen in the NBA. One season you up, you champions. Next season you the last seed in the conference. So the Warriors do have something to prove. I'm also excited about this matchup because some of the additions to the Nets as well. You have Landry Shamet, who is coming from the Clippers. He's with them now. Jeff Green. And I want to see how DeAndre Jordan is going to be working with the Brooklyn Nets. And it's just a lot of new faces that you will be seeing getting to play together for the Brooklyn Nets. And I just want to see how they play together, how their chemistry is. Will they be as great as everybody is expecting them to be this NBA season? That game will be played on TNT at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. The next game that will be played is the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Los Angeles Clippers. That game will be played at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on TNT. This game is going to be, Battle of LA, Battle of the Staples Center, the great rivalry, the Los Angeles Clippers versus the Los Angeles Lakers. You have LeBron and AD versus Kawhi and Paul George. And then what makes this night even special for us Lakers fans is the Clippers get to watch us get our rings that night. There is the Los Angeles Lakers ring ceremony night. So they're going to have to watch us hang our banners and get our rings in the opening game. Isn't that sweet? The Clippers get to watch us, get our rings that night, put the banner up, and it's like, yeah, this is the Staples Center belongs to the Lakers, and y'all know that. You know it. So now you get to watch. But yes, so LeBron and AD versus Kawhi and Paul George. We get to see if the Clippers did make those necessary adjustments that Paul George was talking about. The Lakers and their new additions to the teams. The Clippers and their new additions to the teams. You get to see how that all plays out on December 22nd at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on TNT. This is going to be one for the books. A great way to start off the NBA season. And that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Nia Full Court Press, where I bring you the latest, greatest, and never outdated news of the sports world.